Hello, so today I'm just going to revise some important chronological order of things in ancient Indian history that we need to remember, particularly for our exam UPSC Civil Services Prelims 2026. So let us start with ancient Indian history, and we will go it through a chronological manner. First, we know that we have Indus Valley civilization or the Harappan civilization. After that, we have another important thing that we know is the Mahajanpads. The Mahajanpads. Out of many smaller Janpads, the only important and the most powerful one was the Mauryas. The Chandragupta Maurya, along with Kautilya, formed the empire of Mauryas. They defeated the Nanda dynasty, and after that they formed their own Maurya dynasty. So after intergenerational things happened, and when Mauryas declined, there was a phase of post-Maurya period when Mauryas were completely declined and were completely weak. There was a period called Post-Maurya period. This Post-Maurya period is divided into two types. We have insiders meaning insider powers or inside dynasties, which were from Indian only, which were from Indian subcontinent. And then we have outsiders, who were not originally from Indian subcontinent. Okay, so for insiders I have made a mnemonic called SKSC, and for outsiders I have made a mnemonic called ISPK. So let us see what is this SKSC. For S we have, first I will write this as first we have Shunga dynasty. Then second we have Kanva, and third we have Satvahanas, and then finally somewhere last we have Chedis. Okay, these are for the insiders, and for outsiders we have the mnemonic ISPK. So for I we have Indo-Greek. We know Indo-Greek famously as Menander, who converted to Buddhism after having conversations with the saint. Then second number we have S. For S we have Sakas. Then for third, for P we have Parthians. These all people are on the border, from Afghanistan, from the border of the Pakistan. They were holding the control over this region. Okay, not the central Indian, but for some extent they were having control over central India also. Then for K we have Kushans printed gold coins of highest purity. You just need to remember that. I'm just not going into the details of the rulers and everything. I'm just here to chart out the entire chronology for a better understanding. Shunga, Kanvas, Satvahans, Chedi. Then we have Indo-Greek, Sakas, Parthians and Kushans. Okay, so this was for post-Mauryan period. So all these led to a powerful kingdom called as Gupta Empire, founded by Gopala, and then we know famous ruler Chandragupta. Chandragupta. I'm sorry, I mistakenly said Chandragupta, but it was actually founded by Gopala, if I'm not wrong. Sri Gupta, otherwise known as Gopala. So then we have the famous ruler, as we know, Chandragupta I, then Chandragupta II, Samudragupta, etc. So I would not go into the detail, but this is for Gupta Empire. So another important aspect that we know, when Gupta Empire declined after the continuous invasions of Huns, was the period of post-Gupta period. In post-Gupta period, there were many small dynasties and empires, but one of the most important one was Pushyabhuti, that we need to remember, Pushyabhuti. And one of the important rulers of Pushyabhuti was Harsha. So this Harsha, what he did was he united the entire north, and he is also called as ruler of North India. So when he was on his expedition to the South India, he was checked by another ruler called Pulakeshin II. Pulakeshin II was from the dynasty of Rashtrakuta Chalukyas. Pulakeshin II of Chalukyas defeated Harsha at Narmada river. Okay, and this he has documented in his Aihole inscription. And later he assumed the title called the ruler of South India, something like that. Lord of South India, something like that. Okay, Lord of South India. So by this time, Pushyabhuti dynasty had deteriorated to a greater extent, and in the southern India we had Chalukyans who were holding the sway. But besides Chalukya, we had another important power, and those were Pallavas. Okay, Pallavas. And the famous ruler of Pallavas was who defeated Pulakeshin II was Pallavas. Okay, Narasimhavarman I. Okay, Narasimhavarman I was of Pallavas. He defeated whom? Pulakeshin II, that is Chalukyas. Actually, this was a revenge because Pulakeshin II had killed Narasimhavarman's father called Mahendravarman I. So Narasimhavarman I achieved his revenge by killing Pulakeshin II, and later on Narasimhavarman I founded the city called Mahabalipuram. Okay, and Narasimhavarman's one son was Narasimhavarman II. He ultimately founded the Mahabalipuram temple, or we know it as Shore Temple famously. So this was for the southern India story. So let me just quickly draw a map for our convenience. This is Narmada, this is Harsha's empire, and here we had the Chalukyas checked the power of Harsha, that is Pushyabhuti, and they demarcated the boundary of Narmada as the southern India. So here we have the Pallavas checked the power of Chalukyas, that is Pulakeshin II, who had written a Aihole inscription and all. Okay, so this was the broad the chronology. Afterwards we have what we famously known as Tripartite Struggle. So in Tripartite Struggle, let me just make a map for a better understanding. Here we had Pallavas from West Bengal. Here we had this is Gujarat. So here we had Gujara Pratiharas. Okay, Gujara Pratiharas, and here this entire thing was of Rashtrakutas. So all these people were in a tripartite struggle to capture Kannauj. Okay, so let me just write here for our convenience that we had tripartite struggle between Gujara Pratiharas, then we had Pallavas from West Bengal, then we had Rashtrakutas, Rashtrakutas. Okay. Ultimately, of these tripartite struggle, ultimately Nagbhatt II won the tripartite struggle and he won Kannauj. So this was for majorly that we need to remember for a chronological sequence of ancient Indian history. So let me just go through it once and we will have a greater understanding. We had IVC. After IVC, there were many janpads. These janpads formed into Mahajanpads, and out of these Mahajanpads, the final was the second last was Nanda dynasty, and Nanda dynasty was thrown by the Mauryans, which was Chandragupta Maurya. This is famously known fact. Then we have Post-Mauryan period. After the deterioration of the power of Mauryas, we had Post-Mauryan period. This post-Mauryan period was divided into two broad categories known as insiders and outsiders. For insiders, we have Shunga, Kanvas, Satvahans, and Chedis. And for outsiders, we have Indo-Greek, Sakas, Parthians, and Kushans. Kushans, gold coin of highest quality. Just remember that. And for Indo-Greeks, I guess they printed the coins, but these had human figures on them. So this is also one of the important fact. This is just a chronological video, so I'm not getting into the intricate details. And then all these led to the formation of Gupta Empire. And after Gupta Empire, eventually Gupta Empire also declined due to the constant invasion from the Afghanistan Huns, HUNS Huns. You will see that in detail in ancient history. So after the post-Gupta period, after Gupta Empire declined, main dynasty was Pushyabhuti, and of this Pushyabhuti dynasty, the famous ruler is known as Harsha. Okay, Harsha is also known as ruler of the North India. He integrated the all fragmented parts of the North India and conquered for himself. So Harsha was checked. Harsha's power was checked in the southern India by Pulakeshin II ruler, that is of Chalukya. But I told you Chalukyas are from Badami Chalukyas that were eventually from the bordering part of Karnataka and Maharashtra. So Pulakeshin II defeated Harsha at Narmada. So to document this, he had this is documented at Aihole inscription, and he gave the title to himself as Lord of South India also. So just remember that. So to check the power, so Pulakeshin II was ever increasing the power of Chalukyas. So to check him, Pallavas, and the famous ruler is Narasimha Varman I of Pallavas, defeated Pulakeshin II. Actually, Pulakeshin II killed the father of Narasimha Varman I, which was Mahendra Varman I. So his son Narasimha Varman I killed Pulakeshin II. Just remember that. And Narasimha Varman I on this occasion formed the city called Mahabalipuram city. And Narasimha Varman's son, which is Narasimha Varman II, completed the construction of Shore temple, that is Mahabalipuram temple, that we famously know. So this was the broader thing, and on the larger scale there was a tripartite struggle which was going on between Gujara Pratiharas, Palas, and Rashtrakutas, and ultimately Gujara Pratihara's ruler Nagbhatt II, if I'm not wrong, Nagbhatt II, and then finally it was so it was Nagbhatt II ultimately, and which he won the tripartite struggle. This was the after this it was Mihir Bhoj. I just remember that it is Mihir Bhoj which completed the final conquest, and they became the undisputed leader of the Kannauj. So yeah, this was for ancient Indian history's broader chronology that I was just practicing for my own revision. I just thought to make it a video and to please explain someone when I explain something loudly and to explain someone, the concept gets more ingrained in my brain better. So that's why I had to make this video. That's it. So thank you.